Hey there, everybody. An attempt to come to a consensus on a Pick 4 ticket. Thank you for joining us. It's week number 31 of the racing season, and we're just going to go right back where we were. It's historic Saratoga racetrack in Saratoga Springs, New York. The second weekend at the Spa has a nice little card. It includes the Grade 2 Jim Dandy Stakes. The Pick 4 starts in race number 8, and it ends in race number 11. There are 3 stakes in that Pick 4 on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts. Folks, our East Coast handicapper is coming at you from Staten Island, New York. Ray Torado, how are you holding up with that sweltering heat? And you know what? I can't help it. There's torrential downpours in your area as well.
Yeah, we had a big one today. I got caught in it trying to cross the street. and the light went out and trying to get to my car, and no cars would stop. And 3-4 minutes, I was getting soaked, boy. Richmond Avenue by us became sloppy.
Oh, boy. That does not sound like a fun day. All right. And up next is our West Coast handicapper, and he's coming at you from his home. It's in Temecula, California. Joe English. Joe, the saddest part of these last 2 Triple Crown winners is that you and I are only going to get to see them parade, but never actually race.
Yeah.
Did we? Wait a minute. We didn't. I guess, you might have been at Santa Anita Derby, were you not, Rich, or did you not go this year?
I did not go this year. I missed the Santa Anita Derby this year, so I did not get a chance to see I did not see Justify race.
Then obviously we missed it. But those things happen. He only ran 6 times, and it was only over a 3.5 month period. Mm-hmm. So he was sort of like Haley's Comet.
You know what?
Here 1 minute and gone the next.
I love it. Joe's got my sentiment back. Everybody is a little down. We're going to go ahead and say goodbye to Joe. I'm going to use your terms a little bit better than mine. Haley's Comet. I called him a supernova initially. He burned really bright, really quickly. It was a Triple Crown winner, and he captured the hearts across America. And he's gone just as fast as you can say, Justify. Farewell, big guy. All right. Last week was. We didn't go anywhere. We were right here in Saratoga for opening weekend. Of course. Where were you? Payout was $188 last week on that Pick 4. And for the second week in a row, gentlemen, we connected. Team effort. And we look to keep it going here at the Spa. Time for a quick weather update from Saratoga Springs, New York. It's partly cloudy. There's a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Ray gave you an update on that one. High of 82 degrees. There's winds at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And just note, there is a 20% chance of rain tomorrow. A total of 11 races, 4 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the Pick 4. It begins in race number 8 and concludes in race number 11. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's Pick 4 post time.
Let's go.
Race 8, you should be familiar with this by now. Approximate post time is 5:02 p.m. Eastern. Sorry, I do not have what the guarantee in the Pick 4 is. Once again, I'm sure Saratoga has a guarantee in their Pick 4. 6 furlongs on the main track. It's the Alfred G. Vanderbilt Handicap. Grade 1. Purse is $350,000. It's a handicap for 3-year-olds and upward. 7 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 4. It's Imperial Hint, trained by Luis Carvajal Jr. and ridden by Javier Castellanos. 6-5 on the Saratoga morning line. Run as the A Phenomenon Handicap to 2000. It was named the Alfred Gwynn Vanderbilt Handicap, and he died in 1999. Vanderbilt was a very prominent thoroughbred owner. He served as the chairman of the board of the New York Racing Association from 1971 to 1975. Guys, I will tell you, it's New York. They never asked me, but if they did ask me for a nominee to the board of the New York Racing Association, Ray Torado, you would be at the top of a very short list. So who do you like in the Alfred G. Vanderbilt Handicap Stakes?
All right, be on the board. That'd be nice. We'll make lots of changes, I tell you. This race came to me. It's just a little short field. It'll be 7 horses, and we get the favorite Imperial Hint. I'm on Imperial Hint. I like him. You got a little layoff there. This is one of the sprint division, for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. I think it's a win and you win. It might be.
I think you're right, Ray. I forgot to
I
look
think it is, right?
Yeah, I
Is it?
believe you're right, but I'll take a
I'm
look
not
at that
sure.
real quickly here.
Yeah, it could be. But anyway, Imperial Hint, we saw him in Delmar. He ran second to Royal H, and Royal H, no slouch, is a good horse. He's coming back, I think, this weekend. Tomorrow, okay, he's coming back tomorrow.
Mhm.
And, Castellanos came out to a good start here, 8:33 for start the meet. He's had some really sensational works out, 46-4, 46-2 in Parks. And Caravel's got him right on the engine there. And, slight layoff, so he's going to be probably one to catch with Switzerland on the rail. Not a big fan of Switzerland in this race. So I'll go with Imperial Hint. I do like Warriors Club, number 3. This horse likes Saratoga. He's 9-2. He's had 2 races. He won one, second and one. And he could come off the pace a little bit. They're going to be a Switzerland Imperial Hint speed duel. And I think, and also you have Done Deal, you have Mr. Crow. They might be all up there in the front. And Warriors Club could sneak in there and save ground and maybe close off this pace. And 9-2, I'm going to take the price. Little Sires, he's came out. He's starting at Saratoga pretty well, and he's a 25% jockey in sprint. So I'll take that chance. 9-2. I'm only going to go 2 deep. I'm not a huge fan of Switzerland. I know he's the favorite 2-1. Actually, no, he's not. He's second choice. He's got good speed, but he's been beaten a little lesser, and this is a good test for him. And he's got to prove to me that he can beat these horses. So I'm gonna keep him off my ticket because I'll be going deeper later. So for me, 4-3. Joe, what do you think of the Vanderbilt? Good sprint race.
Not much to add, and I can disagree with you that I don't really think it's a good race.
It's a great one.
Honestly, I mean, I think if the good Imperial Hint shows up, everybody else is running for second.
Mm-hmm.
He's got enough speed. Rich likes to handicap the back page first, and speed obviously does well at Saratoga, and he's got enough tactical speed. He doesn't have to be on the league if Switzerland wants to go crazy, but obviously we've seen in the past that he can be close enough to Switzerland and sit right off of him, because Switzerland's going to have to go from the rail. If Switzerland doesn't go, Imperial Hint's going to be on the engine, and he'll go, and he probably just wire this field. I really, for a grade 1, this to me really did not come up as much of a race. It would have been nice if maybe a couple of the sprinters who are running in the Bing Crosby tomorrow might have shown up here. But like I said, if the good Imperial Hint shows up, to me it's a 1-horse race. And I'm not really interested in Warriors Club or Switzerland or anybody else. To me, I'm gonna take the free square and start with Imperial Hint and hope that the horse gets. Hopefully we get somewhere around 3 to 5, but to me it's a 1-horse race, and Imperial Hint is the one. So I won't waste any more time. So Rich, take it away.
And I'm looking here. I just was just double checking that it does not look like the Alfred Vanderbilt is a win in your race.
Okay.
And maybe that's why only 7 showed up, and everybody else is.
You're right.
Everybody else is in the Bing Crosby, which is a win in your end. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
there you go. Thank you, NYOA.
All right, and Joe called it for me. I decided to, stay neutral in this particular race. I love Imperial Hint. Ray's got that one for me as well. I do like that horse. I think he's got enough speed to win this race. But I went ahead and put my check mark in on a horse who I've kind of got a little bit of a horse crush on. Asmussen and Ricardo Santana. We've lamented about these two before. They hit 29% together. That's actually a little bit low for the two of them. They're usually about a 40% if you see them at Oaklawn Park. This horse has won 4 in a row. As Joe mentioned, I'm just looking to upset the apple cart a little bit here. I'm not about to leave Imperial Hint off my card here, so I don't get crazy with the cheese whiz here in my first race. I went 1-4. All right. Looks like Ray is going 4-3, and Joe. Did you go 4-3 as well in that first race?
I went 4. That's it.
I'm only. I thought so. I just got a check mark next to your neck right there. 4 check mark on Joe. All right. I'm going to come on back to you, and we are going to move along to race number 10 here.
9.
Excuse me. Race number 9 here. And that is going 1 mile and 3/8 on the inner turf. This is the Bowling Green Stakes. It's a grade 2. The purse is $250,000 on the inner turf for 4-year-olds and upward. 9 starters, and the morning line favorite is in post number 7. We've seen him a lot. High Happy, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by John Velazquez. He is 8-5 on the Saratoga morning line. Named for the area on the lower tip of Manhattan Island, the Bowling Green was raced at Aqueduct Racetrack from 1963 to 1967 before moving to Belmont Park. The 2008 edition was replaced in its summer spot by the Man of War Stakes. The Man of War was moved from a fall schedule to improve turf scheduling competition, and in 2015, the New York Racing Association moved the Bowling Green to Saratoga. Joe, it's your turn this week, and our new friend is back. Just remember, I got to ask you the question, buddy. Do you believe in Todd? Especially this is a Saratoga bobblehead.
I don't have a problem with Todd, but I do. Rich, you said High Happy is 8-5 on the morning line.
I believe so. Let's see.
That's okay. Only because the PPs that money multiplier is the favorite.
Let me see if I got that.
2-1 and High Happy is 5-2. I just
I may have gotten that incorrect. I may have had an early morning line on that for High Happy.
Okay, no problem. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure. To me, in this card, the turf races came up much more difficult than the dirt races. Obviously, having only 7 in the Vanderbilt and only 5 in the Jim Dandy, whereas you have much fuller fields in the Bowling Green and in numbers of 1 at the end. I had to go deep in here, and obviously, singling Imperial Hint allows me to do just that. And I'm actually kind of gonna go a little bit off the reservation and take. I'm gonna go with bigger picture. I'm gonna take the 3 as my top choice. I think he's rounding into form. And last year at Saratoga, obviously he ran 2nd in this race and 3rd in the Sword Dancer. After it looks like earlier in the campaign at Gulfstream, not that he was running badly, or at Keeneland, he ran kind of 4th and 3rd, and he just ran 3rd in the Grade 1 in the United Nations last time out. He's in the money 3 out of 4 at Saratoga. So again, 2nd in this race last year. And when are you going to get? And I know the stats look kind of weird for Jose Ortiz at 3 for 30, but you're going to get Jose Ortiz at 8-1 in a Grade 2 stakes race on the grass. I think I'd be willing to take that price for Jose. He's obviously very talented. He's obviously gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, which makes it all the more reason to think, yeah, he's due. He's gonna turn it around, and this may be the horse that starts it for him. Bigger picture is my top choice. Second choice I went with is the 6 Sadler's Joy, who's another horse who loves Saratoga. Again, a lot of these horses, at least 3 of them, have run here and run in these exact same 2 races last year. Sadler's Joy 3rd in the Bowling Green and won the Sword Dancer last year. His recent form is very good, despite not winning. 2nd in the Manhattan last time out, 2nd in the Man of War. Castellano, as Ray mentioned earlier, is off to a really nice start, 8 for 33. And again, he won the Grade 1 Sword Dancer over this track last year. So again, this is one of the tracks that obviously he does well at. 7-2 morning line. He's not one of the top 2 choices. And again, this race is very competitive, and I could see any one of two. I could see either Sadler's Joy, High Happy, or Money Multiplier going off as favorite. Obviously, with Chad Brown's following up there, it's probably more likely to be Money Multiplier. He's my 3rd choice. Again, I'm not wanting this ticket to chalk out. 2-1 on the morning line. Another who's in very good form. You can't really argue that in the last 2 races at Monmouth. 2nd is Sadler's Joy in this race last year. In the Sword Dancer last year. And this is the 3rd in the cycle for Chad, and that's usually a pretty good statistic for most trainers. And it definitely is for Chad as well. So those would be my top 3 choices, but there are 2 others I have to mention briefly. The 9, Manitoulin. It's funny. He showed a little bit of a different dimension last time in the Manhattan. He was a lot closer than the pace, and that may have had to be because he drew post 11. I'm not sure exactly why Mike Smith rode him the way he did. Obviously, he rode him to up in the lead at the Hollywood Turf Cup in a race he won last year. So maybe that's what Mike thought was the best way. I love the fact that he returned to the track after that race. If you look at the first work after that race, which is on June 24th, that was a nice turf drill around the dogs at Belmont Park, 59-3. So obviously the race didn't seem to have taken a lot out of him. And if you like High Happy and Sadler's Joy, who beat him by 2 necks in the Manhattan, it's really hard to avoid taking him at 10-1 in a spot like this. And it's funny because this is a race where last year it was Hunter O'Reilly who beat us out of a pick 4, and I believe he was 15-1 that day. So I can't really leave out Manitoulin, and you can't leave out High Happy too. He's obviously been a gem of consistency. Not sure what his rider was thinking in the Manhattan either. That trip was kind of curious. He was obviously up close near the lead, but then he was taken back, and then he came again. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on there. He's having a good year so far. Pletcher Velasquez, can't argue that. And he's probably going to be the horse who gets first run on Glorious Empire, who unfortunately, sadly, looks like he might be lone speed. So you might need to throw him in there. So again, seriously, you take as many as you can afford. Hope it doesn't chalk out. But the 3, 6, and 8 are my top choices. And on my own personal ticket, I would use the 9, Manitoulin, and the 7. So obviously, I went Keno. Sorry to steal your thunder, Ray. So if you could add something that I haven't said, please do.
No, this race you have to spread. I agree. I mean, you got a few low price horses here, but there's some horses here who, are good prices and they have a shot. So Mount 3/8, anything happen. Good trips, bad trips, possible soft turf. You never know. And this is you have to spread. So yeah, I do like your horses. Yeah, I like High Happy number 7. You have Pletcher Velasquez. He's a winning machine. He's a 8 for 14 with 3/3. We've seen him win. We've seen him run well, and we've grown a fondness to him. He did win the Man of War at this distance, and he was freshening for this race. I like to see that. I like to see horses freshening for Saratoga. They come, they're ready, and it's usually a 1 or 2 shot deal for these horses, and it's the place that you want to get your credentials at Saratoga. So he switches to Velasquez, his stable jockey, and nothing against little size, but John will ride for Pletcher, and they'll give a good run. I do like 6, Sal's Joy. No one our favorites here. Castellano gets aboard. His lack of speed usually hurts his horse to get to winner's circle. You got to go around so many horses, pick up lengths, but Castellano could possibly try and keep him a little closer if he can. He got a good post. It could be good enough speed here. He likes his distance. 7 races, he's 5 of the money, 2 wins, and he just missed last time to a long shot, right? Spring Quality. I mean, that horse knocked us out too.
Yeah, he did.
That was one of the horses that made me fume before the Belmont. And I get proud of. Thank you very much. But anyways, he just missed. That could have been a nice day for me had he won. But we'll give him a chance. He's a good horse. He's a grinder. He comes from way back, but maybe he'll make it this time. make the wire longer. Money Multiply. Chad Brown. We love Chad Brown. He just missed last year's Sword Dancer. He's got a good record in Saratoga. 3, everything in the money, in the place. 4 for 4. He got 1 win. And it's his 3rd race off a layoff. He's finished 2nd in 9 Nations. He did win his last race, the Mama Grade 2. He'll be ready too. Irado Ortiz, Chad Brown, they'll be ready to run. So this is a really good race. I do like the horse, Joe, bigger picture. He's another plotter that just gets, if he gets a rough trip. But, me being on the rail to get a nice little trip here, save ground. Ortiz gets aboard. I like to see that. He ran him very well in Sam Houston. And, they won that race, 1.5 miles. So he likes Saratoga too, 3 out of 4 in the money. And he's 8-1. So very good. And then the price for him. So I'll go 7, 6, 8, 3. And you mentioned the 9 horse. I kind of like him too, so I'm going to throw him in my ticket too. So, Rich? Oh, Bowling Green. That's the park I pass by every day going home to take the bus. And, I always look at the sign, Bowling Green. And so I get good memories of that every day.
That's cool.
Rich? Yeah.
I hadn't realized that.
Oh, yes, downtown. Yeah, I pass it right by. And usually my wife hangs out inside the Bowling Green Park, waits for me, and we go take the bus. So That's our meeting spot, Bowling Green.
Obviously, I love our show because it gives me a chance to handicap every week and talk about, I think, my favorite sports topic, which is horse racing. But I think back up to that is the fact that there's a little bit of a stroll down history lane, and I get to learn a lot about the country. And hearing about places like Bowling Green kind of makes me smile. So thank you. I agree with you. I actually joined in with Joe on Manitoulin. I think if you like the kind of horses that we have liked in these turf horses, in other words, if you like High Happy, if you like Sadler's Joy, if you like the Money Multipliers, I would be hard pressed to not like a Manitoulin in a race like this. If you look at that last race there, especially considering that the horse hit the gate at the very start and was right there at that cavalry charge there at the end at 31-1, I would think you would want to maybe throw in a Manitoulin. That being said, as you guys have figured out with me by now, I just hate the chalk. I'm not going to go against Todd. I do trust in Todd. And I agree with Joe with what you said. I thought that Luis Saez's ride in that last race was a little curious. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look at my text messages, I think that's exactly what you see me saying, with probably a few curse words interspersed in between the fact that it was a little bit of a curious ride. But I believe that he was the best horse in the Manhattan. And the fact that Spring Quality and Sadler's Joy came and nailed him right there at the wire was a bit of a painful experience for all of us. So I'm going to go back to him. It looks like Pletcher's going back to his main man here. He's got John Velazquez up. He's not messing around anymore, even though Luis Saez is really one of the best riders in the country. So I'm not going to blame that one on Luis. It happens every once in a while. That's my check mark. So I've got High Happy as my top pick. I was not going to leave out Sadler's Joy. He's been on this show for almost as long as Ray and Joe have, for God's sakes. And he shows up all the time. As you see here from his resume of his last 10 races, he rarely ever shows up outside the top 3. And every once in a while, he does win when everything gets set up just correctly for him. He just missed it that last one with Spring Quality nailing him. And, of course, if you throw out Chad Brown on turf and you're cursing yourself later, that's on you. So I went 6, 7, 8 in this particular race. And as you heard me starting it off with, I think Joe's right on the money there like that. I think if you leave the 9 out here, you could end up being a very upset person at the end of the day, considering the kind of odds you'll probably get on this race. So I've got 6, 7, 8 as my top line. I'm going to put 9 underneath. I think Ray's got 7, 6, 8, 3 as his top line. He's got the 9 underneath. And I think Joe's got 3, 6, 8, and he's got 7, 9 underneath, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
All right. And I will go ahead and come on back to everybody. That's a contentious race.
Good race, very good.
Good race.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
All right.
I just hope that I'm hopeful that some of those horses will, I guess, because like we were saying or before the show, the Arlington Million is about 3 weeks away. My guess is they'll be sticking around for the Sword Dancer as opposed to going the Arlington Million. But what do I know?
All right. Here we go. Race number 10. This is the feature on the day. It's a mile and an eighth. It's the Jim Dandy Stakes. Grade 2. Purse is $600,000 for 3-year-olds only. 5 starters, and the morning line favorite is in post number 5. It's Vino Rosso, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by John Velazquez. He's your even money morning line favorite here at Saratoga. And again, if you didn't see him before, it's Saratoga. It's Todd Pletcher. He's all dressed up in his suit. This was my Father's Day gift this year, by the way, folks. The Jim Dandy Stakes is run on the first Saturday of the late July Saratoga racing season and is named in honor of the 3-year-old colt, Jim Dandy, who won the 1930 Travers Stakes, beating Triple Crown winner Gallant Fox. Jim Dandy went off at odds of 100-1, an upset for the ages. The Jim Dandy Stakes is typically used as a prep race for the Travers Stakes. Ray, it's Saratoga, and no way my new addition to the show is going to leave you out. So do you believe in Todd?
In this race, I'm going to say no. Sorry. I'm going to be on my ticket, but no, I like Flame Away on the inside. I look at the race, and I don't see much speed in this race. I mean, as far as you got to be right, you got sporting chance, but I think Flame Away can just go out of the gate, and he could be a possible speed there. And he could dictate the pace. I think Ortiz, is going to get out of his little slump here today, have a big day. He can save ground throughout, and petting a good break, of course, because the rev can always be tricky. But he showed good speed as a 2-year-old, and then the Ohio Derby, he was off a layoff. He ran well to the top of the stretch, and they came and got him with core belief in Lone Sailor. But
Yeah.
he's 1-for-1 in Saratoga. He won the sprint in the mud. He got the most wins in the field, 5 out of 11. So I think he might bounce out of there, and he might just go all the way. And I pick it. He's my top choice. So I'm gonna give Sporting Chance a chance here. Number 4, he's 6-1. He did win one of the big Grade 1 races last year, the Hopeful. He's 2-for-2 at Saratoga, so maybe he has the finest for his course. And I think he can stretch out here and run well. Previous he had no chance. He just, he had a bad trip. He just checked in the first turn, so then in the slab, the Derby too. Sorry, Pate Mom. But Lucas, he keeps grinding away there, and he's willing to take a chance, putting blinkers on, and he'll size will keep the price. He'll keep his price decent because they'll be better. The Velasquez and Ortiz. So Sporting Chance 6-1. Actually 8-1. Just so now, I'm willing to put him on my ticket and see how he runs and stretch it out. I got to include Vino Rosso. It's a small field, so he might stay close to pace. He made a good move at the Belmont, and they called his name the top of stretch there, trying to chase Justify, and nobody's beat him that day. So it's probably a mile and a half, a little too long for him. He evened out, and he got passed up by Gurkowski and Hofberg, who won Chase Curlin Stakes. So note that, because Hofberg won the Curlin. So this could be a good comeback race, but coming up to Belmont, I think I give him one race to rev it up, and the main goal for them really is the Travers, of course, for Rapoli and Pletcher and Giant V. So they might just run him, but he may not be fully cranked up for this race. So that's why I'm picking Flame Away on top, and I give Sporting Chance a chance. So I'll go 1-4-5 and Jim Dandy. Joe?
Yeah, it's funny, Ray. I don't really have a lot to say. I picked Vino Rosso on top, but everything you basically said was written on my notes. I was like, okay, well, except that you didn't say he actually won a Grade 2 at 9 furlongs, which is the distance of today's race. But he was close enough to justify Pletcher Velasquez. And like just looking at his work tab since the Belmont, I mean, I know it's a mile and a half race, and maybe he just didn't bounce. Maybe 2 works is enough. But normally, if there was a work like last weekend, and it's possible that maybe there was one and it was missed. But the fact that it took him so long to get back to the track, and he only shows the 2 works since, and they're not really the Pletcher like 101 and change and 49 flat that we usually see. I agree with you. I think they're really setting him up more for the Travers. So, I mean, I had him as my top choice, but for that reason alone, I couldn't single him. And I ended up on Flame Away as my second choice too. Like you said, could be low in speed. He's won his only race over the track. And the switch from Jose Lescano, who again is absolutely serviceable, no question about it, but he's not in Jose Ortiz league as far as talent goes. So basically, to me, it's those 2. We've seen too many times. I know at least one that I can remember vividly of a horse winning the Jim Dandy because the other horses were basically prepping for the Travers, and the horse won on the lead and basically just waltzed home at 20-something to 1. I can't remember the horse's name, maybe Lubash or something like that.
What was that?
But I've seen it too many times, so I would use both the 5 Vino Rosso and the 1 Flame Away. Again, Vino Rosso is a very tepid top choice, and at even money, I definitely would not use him alone, and I'd be more likely to use Flame Away. I definitely would use them both together in concert. But another small field, I guess, with the Haskell being run Sunday in New Jersey, I guess. And what's funny is usually you see some cross entry. Some they'll enter in the Travers, enter in the Haskell or the Jim Dandy, and if it rains one, they'll run at the other, or if it rains Saturday, they'll run Sunday, or whatever the forecast will be. But in this case, I guess there's really no cross entry. You're either going in the Haskell, or you're going in the Jim Dandy. But anyway, 5-1 for me. I couldn't really find much else in here that would cause me to make a case. And like I said, I went deeper in the other legs, so I just went too deep. 5-1. Ray, I'm sorry, Rich. Back to you.
Yeah, I believe I was concerned that the other two speed horses, that the one that Ray likes, the Sporting Chance and that Reride, might interfere with Flameaway's, I guess you like his lone F trip, so to speak. And so I used tenfold as well. I threw in the closer that Joe singled back in the Belmont Stakes. And so I'm using the Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana, again, one of my favorite angles. Those two hit together at 29% together. I know he's been off for a little bit of time here since the Belmont Stakes, and he didn't really show really well in the Belmont after a really fine performance there in the Preakness Stakes. Just misses beating Justify along with Bravazzo. But the horse was 2 for 2, opened up with a win in his maiden. And then, not the best there in the Arkansas Derby, but again, a fantastic performance there at Pimlico. And so I'm hoping to see something along those lines here. And I added tenfold as well, as I've also got the 1 and the 5. So I kind of whipped out this race. I believe that Ray actually went with the 1, the 4, and the 5, if I'm not mistaken. And Joe, I think you've got the 5 on top, but you've still got the 1 in there as well.
5-1, correct.
All right. And I will come on back to you guys, and we are going to head on into the finale here and find Saratoga before, characteristic. The finale is 1 1/8 mile going on the turf. It's an optional claimer. The purse is $87,000, and there is up to $15,000 available for you if you are New York State bred, foaled, or accredited. It is for filly 3-year-olds which have never won $10,000 other than maiden claiming starter or state bred allowance, or which have never won 2 races, or claiming price of $80,000. 14 starters, and your morning line favorite starts from post number 6. It's Reverse the Decision, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Irad Ortiz. 5-2 on the Saratoga morning line. Joe, it's back to you in the finale. And you know what? Just because we're at Saratoga and we're on the turf and he doesn't want to be left out and like that, Chad Brown wanted to check in one time for tonight's show. Who do you like in the finale? It seems like the bobbleheads are going to have a busy summer, huh?
Well, unless the only one you have from Southern California is Baffert. You don't have anything for Arlington, I guess, unless Chad and Todd and Bob invade. But I guess we'll see. It's funny. I don't have the Chad. Maybe it's because I'm afraid this Pig 4 is going to pay $9 if the Chad Brown horse wins.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I'm less like, okay, maybe for me, what I might do is I might do 2 tickets, play 1 with the chalk in the first 3 legs, and eliminate Chad Brown in that last leg. Either that or play it like 50 times. But no, I stayed away from the Chad Brown because to me this race is very competitive, and you can go any number of ways, and I don't think taking 8-5 on Chad Brown, which is probably what the horse is going to go off at, considering it's Chad Brown, is really worth it in a non-winners of 1 allowance. So I went with the 5, Sippin' Kitten. According to the speed figures here, and especially the late speed figures, this horse seems to be getting better. The horse ran well off the layoff last time when she returned in her 2018 debut at Keeneland, no less. Javier Castellano, who we've mentioned before, gets on board. He's the leading jockey right now, and he gets on board for the first time. And if you look, the distance shouldn't be an issue because this horse broke her maiden at 1 mile and 3/16, which is a 16th of a mile further than the race in question. So I went with the 8 Sippin' Kitten, and I guess I should have used one last bullet point on the Ramseys being the owners, because they obviously like to win races, and they like to win races on big days. So I went with the 5 as my top choice, but again, because it's so competitive, I went deep. I like the 4 as well. Frippery. I think the horse has the chance to avoid some of the traffic and be on the lead or near the lead. Rosario gets up for a Mid-Atlantic trainer who obviously does very well in Arnaud Delacour, who was the trainer of, who was that sprinter? I can't even remember the horse's name now. Not that long ago. Anyway, I'm thinking that the horse's last move in that last race might have been a bit too early. Maybe the leader was a runaway leader, obviously being 4 lengths back in that last race. Maybe obviously the horse got a 3.5 length lead, and maybe waited on horses and just got beat at the wire in that last minor stake race. And if you watch this show for any period of time, you know how much I love Delaware shippers, because it seems as if horses that run at Delaware run really well outside of Delaware for whatever reason. So I like Frippery in this spot again, 10-1 in a contentious race. I did go with the 7 as well, Ferdinanda. She's been knocking heads with Got Stormy and Figuerella's Queen, who we've seen in stakes locally. She's done okay in those races. The form's pretty good. Even that last race, again, Got Stormy was the winner of the Penn Oaks, and obviously repeated that effort in the Wild Applause last time out. Another one who's got a little bit of speed and a little bit of tactical speed that can avoid some traffic. And despite the fact that Saez was not necessarily the butt of a joke, but his ride on High Happy might have been questioned, he still won 5 races on the meet at Saratoga, which is 2 more than Jose Ortiz, at least at the moment. So obviously Rich is right. He's a very good rider and should not be discounted if he's on your horse. Don't let that dissuade you. And I have a B pick here as well, and that's the 11, Cash Out, who seems to be getting a little bit of class relief. The horse ran 5th of 13 in the Regret Stakes, which we also had on this show a few weeks back. Horse ran 2nd at the level at Keeneland, 2 starts back with Florence Ruiz as the favorite against Romantic Moment, who I believe ran in a stake that we handicapped last week, if I remember correctly. I do hesitate. And the horse is a B pick because the horse has had a lot of chances, and the post isn't necessarily something I would like. So I would use, if I was going deeper on a ticket, I would use the 11, Cash Out. Again, 8-1. I'll take the price. And as Rich said, if Chad Brown beats me in the end, it's my fault that I left him out. But because this race is so contentious, I'm going to take the chance and I'm going to leave him out. Plus, I don't want the pick for to pay $9.55. So 5, 4, 7 on my top line with the 11 underneath in the finale of Saratoga on Saturday,
right? This race made me crazy. This is a 9 winners of 1. I'll be honest with you. I could make a case for every single horse here. Seriously, because it is just, and I'm not gonna sell for no trucks here. Yeah, like you said, I'm not, because the horse have won once. They're in these conditions, and it is what it is, and they all can win, really. But I'm going, I like your 2 horses, Joe. I like 4, Frippery. He earned a good figure in Delaware. He ran a winning race against probably weaker in an overnight stake. But here he ran a winning race, and he really took a fast pace. You see that pace was like 23 and 13, so plus lengths. So that's pretty fast. And Rosario's has good side workouts against Rosario. He ran in the Fairhill on the training track. He had good workouts. And Delacour is mid 20% in all categories. So 10-1, I'll take that. Frippery. I do like the Ramseys, number 5, Super Kitten. They're at the spa, all dressed up and ready for the winner circle. Yeah. He can compete here at 9 furlongs, like you say. He broke his maiden at mile 3/16. Castellano here for Michael Maker, and and he's just another one who needs a good state trip. And if he gets a trip, he'll be in the picture there. I do like Chad Brown. He'll be on a ticket anyway. Reverse decision, he'll be a short price because of credentials. He placed the minor stakes at Monmouth. Ira Ortiz gets on board. He also needs a trip here. So, number 7, Fernandina. He's one of the best. He's got a good tackle speed here to stay close. The extra distance was definitely suit her. With being on Giants Causeway and stuff. So, this horse has that extra win. Claiming. Mm-hmm. at the distance at a mile. So go a little further. Uh, It's not too much, but you get 2 wins. So that's I like to see that. And Louis Sayers also could ride good at turf. He's 15%. And I got one more horse here going 5 deep. I could have gone 11 deep if I had to. I mean, seriously. Nantucket Red. This horse faces winners for the first time. The figures are getting better. The race off the layoff. Alvarado, 18% turf. He got into a little slow, spa start, 1 for 15, but he's been 6 in the money, so that's 40%. And his figures are getting better. So Nantucket Red at 8-1. And man, you can go on this race to get the 10 Cloak of Secrecy. I mean, everybody in this race has a chance. Seriously, I am. But I go 5 deep here. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9 for me in the finale. Rich?
Boy, this is what makes this show so tough. I come in and I've just got 3 picks myself, and then by the time I'm walking out the door, I've got 4, and by the time I wake up tomorrow, I bet you anything I'll have 5 or 6. So, it's just what happens. As you see here, this was a very, and Joe and Ray have both called it, this was a very contentious race. You don't often see this. I've got split check marks. I've got 2, right? And I went right around the favorite. My actual top check mark is actually on the 4 here, who, by the way, is a 10-1 shot. You don't see me do this very often. The horse's name is Frippery. It's just fun to say. And as you see here, I circled the key thing. So Ray Torado and I have a friend who, for 2 years on this television show, he's on the show, has been touting Delaware horses over and over again. And this is what goes to show you about what happens by being on the show together and things like that. After a while, you start handicapping together, and the next thing you know, you're handicapping Delaware horses, and you've got your check mark on them, and you're asking yourself, how the hell did that happen? I've never bet Delaware horses in my life, but thanks to Joe English, I actually saw this horse, and I went back and I watched the replay, and I thought, wow, Arnold Delacour knows what he's doing when it's on the turf. Look who he's got riding up there, a gentleman who just happens to know what he's doing on the turf. This horse won at first asking, came right back in a little stakes race there at Delaware. I'm going to go ahead and put my check mark on a 10-1 shot here in the finale, and I'm going Frippery. Frippery, just because I like to say that. But I will tell you, I actually went just 4, 6, 7 initially to show you how the show works and like that. I completely missed Ken and Sarah Ramsey, who do indeed like to get dressed up on big days. And I can't think of a bigger day at Saratoga, Jim Dandy Day. So, I mean, there's a couple other ones that are going to be on like that, but they want to be dressed up. Sarah Ramsey would love to get her picture taken on this day. Joe mentioned it, 2 races there at Keeneland, including a win at a mile and 3/16. This horse is someone to have on your ticket, especially when you consider that's Mike Maker and Javier Castellano as the connections. So Sippin' Kitten's going to go on my ticket. I've also got the 6 because, let's face it, if Chad Brown beats me with Irad Ortiz aboard and knocks me out at the end of the day, you guys don't even want to look at this video for next week. So I'm putting the 6 in there. And then again, right? I'm just not going to do it. I'm not.
Let him beat me.
And take a stand.
Let him beat me.
And the last one that I'll throw in there is I did like Barclay Tagg. I like Barclay Tagg and Luis Saez, Ferdinand. That's my split check marks. If I was gonna narrow it down to just 2, I would indeed toss Chad Brown out in this race, and I would just go 4, 7. As again, I just went 4, 6, 7 in the initial one, and it's Ray and Joe who have talked me, or Joe specifically, who talked me back onto the 5. But Ferdinanda here seems to me to be a very serious contender in this race. Joe brought it up earlier, second by a nose to Figuerella's Queen, then comes back, gets beaten by a nose to Pinked. And as you see there, 4 1/4 lengths within with Got Stormy, who came right back to win again. The horse has obviously got significant talent with Luis Saez aboard. I don't want to get beat by a horse who right now looks like it's 7-2 on the morning line. We'll see about that coming in tomorrow. But I went 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Ray went 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 here. And Joe, I believe you went 5, 4, 7. And then on your underneath line, you've got the 11.
Correct.
Oh, underneath. Okay, I got 10, 1, 2, 11, 12, 3.
Ray doesn't want that Keno machine to have
better idea. A-L-L.
Yeah.
No numbers. No numbers required.
I might take a few horses out the other leg. Man, this is wild.
All right. If you will give me just a couple of minutes, I was not able to get much of a leg here, but I will work on getting our tickets together here for us very quickly.
I had a question, but I forgot what it was. I was going to ask. Oh my goodness, I forgot to ask. I forgot what it was going to be, but to try and fill some time.
Assuming it's not what time you and I will be meeting tomorrow at the track to go see Justify.
Well, that's still up in the air. I've got to. Fortunately, my wife is out having margaritas, so I'm going to see if I can finagle my way into a trip to the track tomorrow afternoon. That's funny. It's another thing. I don't even have the PPs for tomorrow for Del Mar, so. If anybody out there in the audience would mind sending to them, obviously I don't think I'd even be able to make it for the first race. I'd probably not. I'd probably get there around probably about this, like you said, Rich. It's about the same time we're talking about, like maybe the third race. I'd probably miss the early pick 5, but at least I'd get to see Justify in the late and get in the late pick 4.
I'm assuming I'll be in a t-shirt and bathing suit and thongs. So.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to be dressed up. Yeah. But what's funny is, Ray, I mean, of all the talk I do about Delaware horses, and we never made it to Delaware Park when we lived on the East Coast. Well, at least when I lived on the East Coast, I never made it.
Yeah. I've been there a few times. Isn't it? Exit 4B.
To the track?
Delaware. Yeah.
Exit 4B. I love it.
On 95.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean,
it's a nice little track.
It's not. And it's not. Yeah, no, it's not far from New York.
I mean, I've been bored out of my ass, and on a Wednesday, whatever, if I'm off, I took a trip down there, and I came back the same day. It's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it's not that far. Yeah, it's not that far.
And
but, I did, Ray. I did get a chance to watch one of the races. I was watching TVG tonight. I got to see what the downpour at the Meadowlands. They were showing races from the Meadowlands. I was like, oh my god, what the hell? Delusion. And here it's been over 100 degrees every day for the past week, so it's obviously summertime. But now I was going to ask a question and I forgot all about it. So I guess maybe while Rich is getting the schedule together, we can tell everybody what's going on for the next few weeks. Next week is August 4th, and Rich was saying we were going to stay at Saratoga. The week after that, August 11th, is the Arlington Million Day. So we'll be doing, I think they're mostly turf races from Arlington, if I remember right. Pretty much, maybe all 4 turf races.
Yeah, it could be.
The American Handicap, the Secretariat, the Beverly D, and the Arlington Million are probably the 4 in the sequence. After that, the weekend after that is Pacific Classic Day. The weekend after that is Travers Day. And then the following weekend is Labor Day weekend, and summer is basically over. And Saratoga and Del Mar will both be ending, but we'll probably be doing we may even do a show from Monday that week. We're not. That's the only weekend of the next month that we're not sure where we will be handicapping. Oh, and by the way, good luck to all the contestants. I believe this weekend is the big Del Mar Live Money
nice one.
Handicapping tournament. And it's funny, if we're down there tomorrow, Rich, we may actually, if we went to Jake's after dinner, after the races, we might end up running into a couple of guys we might know.
I don't know if I'll be dressed. I don't know if I'll be dressed for that.
But it's Del Mar. Everybody's dressed for that.
That's true.
It's not like it's
good point.
Poi polloi, and you're not wearing the tux and the tie. You know.
Not this time.
It's casual beachwear, man.
Right after the show, I'm heading to the airport.
And what? Yeah. And you didn't show up. You didn't show up for opening day at Del Mar. You ain't showing up for tomorrow. I bet. But also one
nice
thing.
Pictures,
yesterday was my son's 11th birthday. So Joshua, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Joshua.
Oh, happy birthday, Josh.
He's sleeping now, so he won't hear me. So unless I actually turn the show on, I don't even know if he watches our show, to be honest with you. He's on YouTube, so he might watch it.
All right, here we go.
He just doesn't come to the track with me.
You guys can see this up on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Mm-hmm. So in the Leg 1, we've got, we've got a consensus. Top pick for a couple of the 4. I actually have the 1 as my top pick. I did choose Switzerland over an Imperial Hint, so we've got 4-1 in our top leg. Leg number 2. Let's see. Ray has got the 7 as his top choice. That's also my top choice. Joe, you've got the 3 as your top choice. The 6 and the 8, there's consensus on everybody's ticket as far as that one's concerned, as well as the 3. So 7, 3, 6, 8. Leg number 3, that's our feature. That's the Jim Dandy. Ray, you've got the 1 as your top choice. Joe, you've got the 5 as your top choice. Rich, I've got the 2 as my top choice. So all 3 broke guys represented here. 1, 5, 2. And in the final leg, the one that I could see a train wreck coming in this one. But Ray, you've got the 5 as your top pick. Joe, you've got the 5 as your top pick. The 4 is also my top pick. And then we've got some consensus there on the 7 and the 6, I believe.
Yeah, no, that's $48, and that looks fine by me.
Mm-hmm.
$48 and 4-1 with 7-3-6-8 with 1-5-2 with 4-5-7-6. Joe, you got that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't actually writing it down, but I will. Any idea? Has anybody even thought about the Haskell on Sunday?
I was wondering if you guys, and again, I'll probably be coming back from Del Mar. I'm definitely going to go see Justify for the last time I get a shot to see him. He's parade tomorrow, so I'll go see him. But I'll be coming back from the track. But if we wanted to, I thought we could get together for tomorrow tonight if we want to take a look at the Haskell. And again, top race for 3-year-olds. Really one of the top opportunities for us to get together to watch Monmouth, because I think we did that last year as well. I think that was on 3 Broke Guys. It's kind of like a special episode.
Yeah. So I don't. We can take a look. Maybe I just know I haven't handicapped the card at all yet.
Yeah, me either. I have made notes for you on that. But if we want, we can
either that or maybe we could do Sunday. We could do Sunday morning instead. This way, if we wanted to do it, give ourselves a little time to
review the card.
To look at the card tomorrow night after whatever happens. Because I mean, if I don't go to the track tomorrow, I'll be able to spend some time looking at the Haskell card. That would be fine.
All right, that sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I think
so if anybody out there on this show, hint, fellas, send me the Haskell card for tomorrow, for Sunday, and Del Mar card for Saturday.
All right. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed the show, well, we're going to be back next week because that's what the 3 Broke Guys do. We're going to get together to take a look at another exciting card. And I'm not sure where you're going to be, but we're going to stay right here at the spa. And where else would you want to stay during the summer? Saratoga Racecourse in Saratoga Springs, New York. All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It is always a pleasure to handicap with the 2 of you.
Yes, it is. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you.
For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching 3 Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.